The painful secret of gods and kings is that men are free. They are free. Aegisthus, you know it, but they do not. Hi everyone, before I start the show, I'd like to thank iTrustCapital for sponsoring the show. iTrust is a crypto IRA that you're able to invest in crypto as well as precious metals, and you're able to do this with tax insulation, so you can defer your tax payments until you retire by using IRAs. So iTrustCapital has no monthly fees. There's a trade fee, but there's no monthly fees. There's an iPhone app. There's a Samsung app. You're able to use iTrust platform on your phone and able to trade 24/7, 365 days a year. As well as they have Fireblocks as Coinbase custody as their custodian, so your crypto is safe with iTrustCapital. It's institutional storage, and if you use my link, itrust.capital/Darren, you can get up to $100 in funding reward just by using the link itrust.capital/Darren. So be sure to check them out. Please take a look at what they have to offer and research IRAs.
You know, we have countries like Switzerland and China all testing out the digital currencies. How are you gearing up for the disruption of money with central bank digital currencies? How will it change the way you and other banks operate in future?
Probably fundamentally. While we're not formally involved, no foreign banks are involved in the Chinese ECNY, I think we're as close to that as we can be to understand how that digital currency can be used for cross-border trade. Going back 5 years, we had digital currency underpinned trade finance and money settlement systems, and using as a medium of exchange, using things like Ripple's XRP, for example, as a medium to affect real-time cross-border payments. And we learn through each one of these pilots, and we realize that these things can be cheaper and faster with lower settlement risk, which is a good thing for the system. If the underlying currency that you're using as a medium of exchange is unstable, Bitcoin, for example, it's very volatile, as we know, although it's also big and liquid. Finding the trade-offs so that the system can actually be safer and cheaper and more effective, and at the same time, suitable for the user who doesn't want to take any market risk or operational risk along the way. I think we're still figuring that out, and I think that's the big use case.
Is it only a matter of time before you get into Bitcoin trading for your clients?
It is only a matter of time and regulatory forbearance. Because right now, it's almost impossible for a bank to be a market maker in cryptocurrency.
Bill Winters, the CEO of Standard Chartered, knows the benefits of XRP, being able to move money quickly, cheap, and efficiently. Standard Chartered had a proof of concept with Ripple where they studied trade finance and money settlement systems. The issue is regulatory forbearance. When we finally have crypto regulations, XRP is the crypto that has been tested by the big banks.
Not a long time ago, if you ask me what was the fastest way to transfer $1 million from Brazil to England, people probably say on a plane. And then that was actually the correct answer, on a plane.
The president of the Central Bank of Brazil is quoting Grindhouse's elevator speech. We know Jim Cunha from the Boston Fed leaked that Ripple was involved with Brazil's retail CBDC.
And it is to drive innovation that private sector is so good at providing in technology, combined with the trust built by the participation of central banks, regulators, and standard settlers. And that is moving in a way that hopefully will bring to the economy this cheaper, faster service that digital money can provide without the overwhelming risks we have to be mindful of. And what are these risks? Private digital money can try to do wrong things, support crime or terrorism. They can avoid taxation in a way that affects the public purse. The production of some of them, like to get Bitcoin, means energy being used in massive amounts, in some countries already causing deficit of energy supply. And on top of it, we have the big question of standardization and inclusion in a global system for which policymakers have to step forward. All of this being said, we are at the crossroad around how fast, how far, in what proportions, but sure, I see this as a one-way street in which digital money are going to play a bigger role. So better roll our sleeves and make sure that they are trustworthy, that the providers are regulated, and there is interoperability across central bank digital currencies.
We're at a crossroad, and Kristalina sees this as a one-way street to crypto playing a big role in the next-gen financial system. She is saying we need to regulate and we need interoperability with central bank digital currencies. The IMF has the ability to bail out the United States. They are able to print SDRs. It's a very powerful institution, and the managing director just told you that crypto will happen. It's a one-way street.
Then on CBDCs, as you said, in the MAS, we make a very careful distinction between wholesale CBDCs and retail CBDCs. Both are digital currencies issued by the central bank. Wholesale CBDCs, we see a variety of use cases because they're used in the interbank system to effect a cross-border payment. Today, that is in a dreadful situation. Sending money to you, Gillian, in the UK, is long, laborious, costly, inefficient, and insecure. And you won't get what I actually intend to send to you. So that's a problem we need to solve. And wholesale CBDCs address that because in a domestic payment system, you have a central bank that acts as a central counterparty. In a cross-border setting, you don't have that. And so you do need a decentralized ledger or a blockchain. And you need wholesale CBDCs to facilitate that transfer.
Ravi Menon, Managing Director of the Monetary Authority of Singapore, is telling you a decentralized ledger is needed for cross-border payments. Now, a decentralized ledger is crypto. The crypto asset sits inside of the decentralized ledger and is used as exchange within that network.
And then we start moving forward and we look at the Web3, we look at what the DLTs, the decentralized ledgers, are doing. But then I think we are now in a phase where we look at the protocols, which are really the instruments. And when we look at some of these protocols, we really have done an amazing improvement in terms of being able to generate efficiency, composability, suitability. It's really moving very fast. When we talk about crypto assets, I think people focus too much on the asset itself, but the beauty of it is the networks that are being created. And the networks that are being created, like I said, with the protocols, they have a lot of good characteristics that will be used and that will change financial intermediation in the future. It's already happening in a way. You have protocols that decreasing costs, the huge decreasing costs from banks. They are faster, they are auditable, they are transparent. A lot of them can include traceability in things that today you can't. And then at the end, your lower cost, you increase transparency, and you generate financial inclusion. So I think the real question is, we think the CBDC, and we can talk about that later, the CBDC will play a different role. And at the end, I think the cryptos will play a part. I think trying to differentiate cryptos will just generate a movement to migrate to an environment that's going to be more difficult for us to see. I think that there is a big challenge, big opportunities. And again, I think wherever you see asymmetric information and you see cost, technology will come and disrupt it. And it's happening. And it's happening in financial intermediation. It's happening in other places too. So I think at the end, I will leave with the fact that I think this is good because it generates financial inclusion. And I think we are seeing a whole democratization of the financial intermediation system. Thank you.
He's telling you that cryptos will have a role. The winners in this space will be enormous because these are protocols of value. These are golden ledgers, trusted ledgers, networks that will host the world's value. And they will offer immense benefit to businesses, consumers, and the global economy as a whole. The inefficiencies are wiped out. The cost of doing business becomes close to zero. The world has financial access, elevating the standards of living for everyone on the globe.
To our board of directors, last year, and we said this world of digital money is changing so rapidly that unless we integrate the innovation in regulatory learning, not even doing per se, we are going to be in trouble. So we are expanding significantly our work on digital money, and we are concentrating on three big questions. Number one, interoperability. How can central bank digital currencies communicate with each other? How can we avoid fragmentation that makes in one particular block cheap, accessible, fast, but not across, undermining trade and economic cooperation?
Interoperability is key between CBDCs, and XRP is a bridge asset.
What people need is something that has 5 characteristics: that is fast, that is cheap, that is secure, that is transparent, and that is open. So I think those are the characteristics that people are looking at. Now, when I look at what we have done in terms of cross-border payments globally, I worry a lot because the wholesale system, which benefits, which would be benefited and would benefit a lot the cross-border payments, only works if it's very interoperable and if it's fast and secure in an interoperable way. And when you look at today, the main experiments that are being done in different places, you don't have the same choice of technology. So some places, for example, are doing centralized. Some others are doing DLT. The way people look at gates are different. The protocols are different. The security, the encryption is different. So I think coordination is key, because if you have to have a cross-border payments between a system that is centralized and a DLT, it will not be better than the normal crypto system that exists today. So I think the coordination is very important if we want to make this work. I think that the rapid revolution in payments did not translate into better cross-border payments. I think we are a bit behind on that. In the case of Brazil, we completely changed the FX system because we needed to do that before. Most of our laws, FX laws, dated back to 1940s. We are moving into more of a conversibility FX, and we are connecting instant payment to different platforms, like, for example, the project Nexus. So I think at the end, I think the CBDC could be the ideal ecosystem in this new landscape. I do think that we are moving into this new system in which we need to find a solution for cross-border. And the solution will be found by the private sector if we don't have anything better in a year or two. And it's already happening. Even though I completely agree that the cryptos don't have the characteristics that are welcome for money, I think we are moving in that way. So I think choice of technology, the use of smart contracts, I think we need more coordination. And I think to end, we need to find, again, a solution today, kind of forward-looking, trying to see what's going to happen in a year or two, because those things are accelerating very, very rapidly. And for example, I look at protocols from 2 years ago, and today you have much better systems. But I agree with most of what was said, and I think the biggest challenge for us is cross-border payments.
There are all types of projects that the BIS and central bankers are working on with atomic swaps. But if there isn't a global coordination to have one platform that everyone can use, the private sector will come up with the answer. The traction that we have seen with Ripple, the board members being ex-Treasury, ex-Fed, Michael Barr was just appointed to the Fed. I think we're going to see a public-private partnership like we saw with Google and the NSA. The central banks are not technologists and cannot deliver on creating a platform from scratch. They will need the private sector's help.
And the solution will be found by the private sector if we don't have anything better in a year or two. And it's already happening.
Freedom is what you do with what's been done to you. John Paul Sartre. Thanks everyone, I hope you enjoyed the show. Please take a moment to like and subscribe. If you enjoy content like this, please consider joining my Patreon. Thanks everyone.